So now that you've entered in various chemicals and you're done for the day, but you don't want to lose everything you've put in there, you can export your data to a comma separated value file format. To do that, it's going to take everything that's in your session and export that. What I'll do is I'll go through and I'll show you what happens. Click on Export Data, and you can see down in the corner over here, it's loading it. So once it's ready, you can open it up. So once you've exported the file and you open it up, you can do some resizing of the columns so you can actually read the text. But you can see here are the major categories: the acute, chronic, human effects, ecological, environmental, fate, and transport, the atmospheric, the physical, the process factors, and life cycle. Column B is all of the subcategories. And then column C is the units for each of these. And columns D and E and out from there would be the chemicals that you have in your session. So for the numbers, for the values that you enter in that are actual numbers, they'll show up as numbers. The ones you select from a drop-down menu, unfortunately right now only show up as the score value and not the actual text in the drop-down menu. So what you'd have to be able to do is say, figure out what that 6 was and then kind of figure out what that value would be. So now with this data saved, you can then come back to P2OAsys on another date. Instead of having to refine all the information from the safety data sheet, eventually you'll be able to import this table into your session and have the data available. We're currently working on making that feature functional, but in the short term, what you'll have to do is do a split screen and go back through and line up your data that you wanted to enter into the system. Let me just go like this for a second, bring this over here. So if we bring up this one here, expand them all, and split the screen so that you can see them both. So what you could do now is go into the inhalation, you find LC50. Let's see, it's not there, so you come in here for vapor, you would put in your value of the 4. Right, you select off the floor, you could go through and you could re-enter and then matching them up line by line. It takes a little time, but it's not challenging, it's just time consuming. You can go through and get your values back in there and you can start up your assessment from that point as opposed to pulling it off of the safety data sheet. The other option that you have is you can export the summary score. So once we're here, I'm going to just minimize this, maximize this. Here you have a couple options. You can export the category scores, which would just be this table here, what you see, both of these chemicals with these 8 categories, or you can export all of them, which would be all of these points into your Excel sheet, your comma separated value sheet. So if you were to click on export that, it just gives you the top level ones, and this one gives you all the things that are on the screen right now. And then we'll go back.